Hello and welcome back to another podcast editing walkthrough. Today is Sunday, January 13th, 2019. My name is SP and I'm from Better Podcasting, which is a podcast to help the hobby podcaster on the Gonna Geek Podcast Network. I also co-host and produce a weekly podcast on the general Marvel universe called Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. And because of all that, I've been asked by multiple people how I edit. So I went ahead and I created these streaming videos to show how I edit for anybody that wants to learn. I stream these videos live on my Twitch stream, which you can find at twitch.tv/Stargate Pioneer. Then I go ahead and upload the videos to my YouTube channel for more permanent storage, since Twitch only stores the videos for about 2 weeks. And that is Stargate Pioneer Edit Walkthroughs. Now, I edit using Vegas Movie Studio 15.0 Platinum and then Audacity, the process of which is I do the video edit in Vegas Movie Studio. Then I export the audio via a FLAC file, which is a lossless file, into Audacity and complete an audio edit there. Now, these videos is a basic editing walkthrough. It's not necessarily a course or lessons, but just like any video game walkthrough, I will give explanations for how and what I am doing along the way, as well as if I get to it, I will put time codes down below for the more educational stuff in the YouTube description. Now, in this video, I will be editing Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. and spoiler alert, this episode will be discussing The Punisher Season 1, Episode 6. So if you don't want to be spoiled on The Punisher Season 1, Episode 6, go ahead and skip this video, or watch The Punisher Season 1, Episode 6 and come back and watch this editing walkthrough. My status so far is I've gone ahead and I've uploaded the tracks, I've synced the tracks, and I've started to edit. I'm about 35 minutes into the edit, which is squarely in the middle of the main segment of the episode about The Punisher. My editing philosophy in the video part is mostly to deconflict the audio. I want to have minimal crosstalk. I want to optimize the experience for the listener. I want to remove coughs, audio ticks, keyboard strokes, desk bangs, mic hits, that sort of thing. I also want to remove crutch words when I can, such as like, so, you know, and I can only do that if the mouths don't move too much. Otherwise, it looks like somebody's trying to say something and nothing's coming out of their mouth, which is really weird for an average listener. I prioritize my content, first of all, and then I go ahead and prioritize the audio quality. So first of all, the content's got to be there. If we go off into some weird tangent or we get off track of recording, which happens every once in a while, it's a live recording, I'll go ahead and cut that out and then move on to the actual content that people subscribe to the show to hear. The audio quality, of course, is best obtained when you first record. And then in post, I try to improve that as much as I can, but mostly it's just keeping what it was originally recorded and keeping that good audio quality from there. And then I try to prioritize my listeners' time. So I try to take out as much silences or crutch words as I can and try to make the content as succinct as I can. Now, while I'm trying to do all of this, one of my biggest constraints is I only have one video track. We record via YouTube Live, and then I capture that recording via OBS Studio and add a template on top of it. But because I let YouTube Live do the switching, I'm not able to mask audio edits as well as I probably could if I did a better job of producing. But the primary product out of all this is an audio podcast. The video is just a secondary. So if I can put out a secondary product that looks halfway decent, I'll go ahead and do that. But that is why I'm doing two different edits here. If you have any questions, as Liberty Dude has had, and by the way, thank you, Liberty Dude, very much for correcting me in the previous video. I did not have any audio going out. And for those of you that are learning how to stream live, I'm using XSplit, and it just told me before I went live tonight, hey, there's an update available. So I clicked yes and did the update. Unfortunately, it changed some of the settings as how the audio is actually streamed out. And since I don't know XSplit probably as much as a lot of experts do, it took me a little while to find out exactly what the issue was. And hopefully I have it fixed right now, so I'm not hearing myself back and I'm actually getting my microphone audio out to you. But if you have any questions, go ahead and ask in the Twitch chat stream. And then if you're watching later on YouTube, go ahead and leave your comment down below and leave a time code as to where in the YouTube video you're specifically talking about. That way I can answer your question a little bit better. And if I need to, I will create another video to answer your question, and then I'll post that on YouTube as well as stream it here on Twitch. Also, I am not an audio professional by trade. I've been editing podcasts for 8 years, so everything that I've learned up to date is going into these videos. If you happen to have a better way to do things, please let me know. And if I can incorporate that into my process, I definitely will. And then I'll share it with everybody so everybody can make their audio editing a little bit better for their podcast. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with today. Basically, what I got here is me. I'm going to wave my hands around so you can see me. I know it's kind of complicated with myself sometimes all the way over on the other side of the screen in the preview window, and that is where the video track is previewing while I am actually editing. And then in the middle, in between, way over there and just right next to me, is all the files that have gone into this recording. Down below, you see the actual tracks involved. Here is the OBS captured video. It is one file, as you can see, one video track. And then I have a combination of all of the audio down below. And I've muted that because I have actual other tracks I can use, which makes this so much better. Down below that, there is 3 tracks that I record on my Zoom H6. I do so with a mix minus capability through my Mackie Pro FX16 V2 mixer. And if you want to see a diagram on how I do that, go to geeks.link/SP diagram 2018. That is SP diagram 2018. And that will lead you to a Twitter post that I made with the actual audio diagram on there. So you can see how I mix minus and get the separate tracks. But the first track I get is a hangout track, which is my co-host all roped into one. So in this case, I have Lauren and Haley and Michelle, all 3 of them on one track that is less than desirable. So I've muted that because I have other tracks that do things better. I am isolated on my own microphone in SP. And down below, I have a soundboard track. So all the sounds that I play during the podcast, the intro, the outro, the pre-roll, and the segment bumps in between, they're all in this one track. And I replace that audio as I go because the audio is definitely better in the original file, which I have, so it's no big deal to change that out for the original file. I also use this as a meter of how far I've been in the edit. So I usually delete everything off to the left that I've already edited, and it is my status bar for editing. Down below that are the replaced audio musical files. I have a track for bumps, track for intro, outro, and a track for pre-roll. The bumps and the intro, outro are separated because they require different effects on the channel, like different levels of no plugins here. Okay, so that's a bad example. But here, oh, that's a bad example too. So basically, I'm playing them as they come in, and then I use a different volume gain. But let's go up to Michelle, and she will have a dialogue denoiser from Isotope RX5, a Gmax, which is basically a compressor, which is throwing a lot of gain in there because she recorded kind of low, and a ceiling of -3, so it doesn't clip. And then a noise gate of -30 dB, so I can cut out all those background noises that might be hidden in her track. And then when I go ahead and render, I turn this on, the RX5 declicker. I don't turn that on for actually previewing because that would make the track and the processor choke because it's just too much processing going on. That's an example of the different processing that happens inside each track. And then there's a master processor too, by the way. And I use this to set the limit of all the tracks at -3, because sometimes there's constructive interference, and that causes, even though 2 tracks are -3 and -3, you add them together and they might clip. So I go ahead and use the limiter on the master track with that. I'm going to go ahead and start this edit, and we'll see how far I get before it's bedtime. Unfortunately, I'm probably going to have to cut this short from where I wanted to be at the end of this. If I wanted to record or edit all the way through the end of this segment, I would have to go an extra 8 minutes, 43 seconds, I think, or, well, actually less than that. So about 8 minutes. So maybe that's doable tonight. Maybe that's the goal for the night, is to get the rest of the way through this Meg segment. And with that, we're going to go ahead and go. So the next episode of The Punisher we're going to talk about is season 1, episode 7, called Crosshairs. Any predictions? I'll start with Haley.
I think Frank's going to start killing folk.
Well, yeah, we went one episode without him killing people, so.
No, I mean like a bunch of people.
Well, I heard something in the background. So the next episode of The Punisher we're going to talk about is season 1, episode 7, called Crosshairs. Any predictions? I'll start with Haley. Any predictions? I'll start with Haley.
I think Frank's going to start killing folk.
Well, yeah, we went. Well, yeah, we. I think it's Lauren's track. Yep. All right, here's the deal. We are going to take out all potential noise by just deleting everything in that track. So I'll start with Haley.
I think Frank's going to start killing folk.
Well, yeah, we went one episode without him killing people, so.
No, I mean like a bunch of people.
Without him killing people, so.
No, I mean like.
Without him killing people, so.
No, I mean like a bunch of people.
Well, he's got to make up for the time.
Because he's got a bunch of guns and he hasn't gotten to use them yet.
Yeah, Micro was looking at the gun wall.
Chekhov's gun wall.
I know who was clearing their throat there. Haley has some throat clears during the podcast, mainly because she doesn't have a mute button as accessible as I do. My mixer happens to be right within my hand's reach, right there. It's just off camera. And I can click the mute button on my specific microphone and I can cough or clear my throat or whatever. Haley's happens to be, from what I've gathered of her room, way off. And don't remember if it's left or right, but way off. She's got an L-shaped desk and her mixer is like way back to one side or the other. So she doesn't have a mute button as accessible as I do. And because of that, that means I have to go in, and every time she clears a throat, I have to bring that out and just delete it. So little tip for your co-host, maybe try to have them have, if they have a mute button on their mixer already or audio interface, have them orient their desks so that they can quickly get to it with their hand as you're podcasting. And that will save you time, edit later. As you will watch these episodes that I stream as I'm editing Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., you will see how much time I've wasted when I have to take something like that out of a co-host. And it's just because her setup is the way it is.
Hasn't gotten to use them yet.
Yeah, Micro was looking at the gun wall.
Chekhov's gun wall.
Michelle, any predictions for next time? Yep. The problem there is she starts laughing.
Chekhov's gun wall.
Okay. Micro was looking at the gun wall.
Chekhov's gun wall.
Michelle, any predictions for next time?
I wonder who's going to...
I know that Liberty Dude has asked me in a previous video on why I don't cut out large pieces of silences like this, which is about 3.2 seconds, which is too long. One of my shows normally is 0.85 seconds to 1.5 seconds of silence in between what somebody is saying. That's at least double, if not more, of what I normally allow. And the problem is I'm here, as you can see, skipping through frame by frame. So you see me, it's 30 frames per second, by the way. So this is about 60, 70 clicks or so. So I'm here, I'm shown, I'm still being shown. And all of a sudden, we get to the spot where Michelle starts talking right about there. And you still see me. You still see me. You still see me. You still see me. Oh, there you see Michelle. So unfortunately, I can't just quickly cut out that middle. Normally, I don't go ahead and do this. But because Liberty Dude asked me this question, I'm going to go ahead and go about, let's see, where are we at? We are at 48. Oh, right on the dot, 48.0. So 0.85 seconds from that in a 30-second thing would be roughly what? About 25? So 25 over 30. You're going to make me do math in public here. 25 over 30 equals x over 100. 53, 8, 24, 10. Close enough. 25. So we are going to go 25 clicks over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't have to count because it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right there is where Michelle is going to start talking. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to select down in an empty track, which will select all tracks and put a nice cut in there that will last all the way up. Problem is I didn't want to do that. So we'll go back out. I just wanted to do the cut there in her track. All right. So now I want to bring that forward. You can get to see how complicated this is on doing this, but I can't bring everything forward because she starts talking. I bet you it's back here too.
I wonder who's going. I
Maybe back here. Okay, so that is when she starts talking. Right there. And click that. Actually, this is going to be fun because I'm going to delete that and going to just put a marker there. Oh, I can't do that. All right, that's just the marker of when she's going to start talking. I'm going to go over here. I believe it was here.
Okay.
We'll say that's when she starts talking. The problem now is I'm going to cut all of the speech. And go ahead and cut this down below because the soundtrack is meaningless right here, but it gives us a good spot to know when everybody is starting and stopping. And then, yeah, I'll go ahead and do this. Huh. I don't know why that was like that. That was weird. Okay. This is just taking a while. You see why I don't do this. Because I have to do maths in my head. Nope. Delete all this in the middle. We'll go ahead. And here's another thing that can go wrong is you can misalign tracks big time here. So we're going to bring all of these on over. Oops. And deselected them all. All right. And it's the video track that we have to be careful of. Oh, okay. Never mind. Can't move those yet. So I have to know. Oops. I have to know how long that is. So this is, I think we've established 3 seconds. That's a total of 3 seconds. And what we have is 0.25 or 25. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, that's supposed to be 25 right there for 85. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3. Well, I cut that short, but okay. So I know I'll have a gap of 2 in there to get to that 25. The problem is you don't see her start to speaking for 25 seconds. So we're going to do this. We're going to go 25 over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go ahead right there. We're going to cut that. And then, normally when I would start speaking, it would be right there, but we're going to go 25 seconds over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This did not work at all like I wanted to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 seconds over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 seconds over. So 9 seconds over from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, we're going to cut that out. We're going to cut that out. Now you see what I'm talking about. I have made me longer into Michelle. I'm going to select everything after cursor, all the tracks. I'm going to move this over. Okay. Now this should look and sound like YouTube did the switch to begin with. But you can see all the time I've wasted on this, and it was only over 2 seconds.
Oh.
Michelle, any predictions for next time?
I wonder who's going to die first.
See, all that for 2 seconds because I had to shift 0.9 or 9 frames over, which is roughly, I don't know, 15 frames would be half a second. So 9 is like 15, 16 seconds, really. Or 0.16 of a second. Anyway, yes. Well, 16, but half a second, like a quarter of a second. Anyway, all over that little notch. It's not really worth it. But I got a good edit out of it, so we'll just continue.
Chekhov's gun wall.
Michelle, any predictions for next time?
I wonder who's going to die first. Billy or Curtis. I don't want Curtis to die, but for some reason I feel like he might
Frank can't have too many friends.
Yeah, and I feel like
Is Curtis going to
Curtis
die before?
Curtis might.
Pretty sure I'm going to knock myself out.
Yeah, and
Let's
I
see.
feel like
Is Curtis going to die before?
Curtis might die to protect Frank, or yeah, and I feel like
Is Curtis going to?
Curtis might die.
All right. The reason why I went ahead and did that change there is I know in the audio edit, I'm not going to want that there. Matter of fact, I'm going to pull that out of the audio edit. I just can't because I'm actually talking. And like I just showed, I can't even show myself not talking and swipe back and forth between her and me because my mouth is moving the whole time. So it is what it is. And it looks like I'm an idiot and not saying anything.
Yeah, and I feel like
Is Curtis going to?
Curtis might die to protect Frank, or something like that.
Is Curtis going to die before Lewis?
Where I have a question. Where are they going to go with?
Die before Lewis.
I have a question.
Before Lewis.
I have a question. Where? I have a question. I have a question. Where are they going to go with Lewis?
This is a good place to actually do a cut because as you can see, Haley is actually speaking there, right? So we'll show everybody, right? There, select all the tracks, and all the tracks are selected. And then this is a simple going over 25 or so after I get done talking. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and select everything. That means I can select all this stuff, delete it, but I got to make sure I delete everything, top to bottom. And then I do that, select all. I love this, select all after the cursor. All tracks. That makes sure nothing gets out of sync. There we go. There is a nice clean edit. Now that is an easy edit. But what I did before was not easy because I got all confused over which track I was trying to make longer, shorter, how much, and everything. That was a pain. But this is easy. Curtis going to die before Lewis.
I have a question. Where are they going to go with Lewis, do you think?
He's on the run now.
I have
But
that
I'm-
question.
Run now. Who was that? Run now. Not me. Not Lauren. That is definitely Haley. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to take Haley out right there too.
Going to go with Lewis, do you think? Going to go with Lewis, do you think?
He's on the run now.
I have that question too. Like, how is he connected to Frank's story?
I'm
I don't
wondering if
know.
Billy is going to bring him in to use him for like clandestine
Or
stateside
maybe
stuff.
go
off the
after
books.
Frank. I don't think he's good enough to, but he could.
Yeah, Scott and I were watching, and when the whole stabbing thing happened, Scott's like, I mean, it's self-defense. And I'm like, well, you could argue the first stab was, but then the
But
other 15.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the 6 after that.
then
But
the other 15. I mean, it's self-defense. And I'm like, well, you could argue the first stab was, but then the
But
other 15.
I'm just going to take a wild guess, and that was Haley.
Well, you could argue the first stab was, but then the other 15.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the 6 after that. That's when it
Yeah.
becomes more murdery.
That's a bit of overkill right there. I feel
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the 6 after that. That
I guessed wrong. That was Michelle. Trying to speak up. Michelle does a great job of trying not to overtalk, but she needs to get her points in.
But then the other 15.
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the 6 after that.
Which she always does, by the way. I don't mean to imply that she doesn't. She just waits for an opening and then she brings it on in.
But then the other 15.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the 6 after that. That's when it becomes more murdery.
That's a bit of overkill right there. I feel
the whole there's a desk bang going on, which is what I'm trying to find.
That's a bit of overkill right there. I feel so bad for Lewis. I feel so bad for
Yeah. Sounds like a laugh there at the end. See how that works.
That's when it becomes more murdery.
That's a bit of overkill right there. I feel so bad for Lewis. I feel so bad for him.
The whole fight was escalating. If you took a look at the whole thing, he asked him to leave. Okay, he lied first, so okay. And then he asked Lewis to leave. O'Connor asked.
All right. But up, you had a brawl going, and then O'Connor brings a knife into.
O'Connor asked.
All right. But up.
O'Connor asked.
All right. But up, you had.
Oh. When you make a mistake, you can visually see you've made a mistake. The heck? What did I just do? Lewis to leave. O'Connor asked.
All right. But up, you had a brawl going, and then O'Connor.
Lewis to leave. O'Connor asked.
All right. But up.
I'm just going to leave that one in. This just makes more sense of how I stop abruptly because I'm being interrupted, but I'm also, I think in the audio edit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away that second all right. O'Connor asked.
All right. But up, you had a brawl going, and then O'Connor brings a knife into it.
O'Connor slashes him in the stomach first.
Yeah.
You can see it.
True, but he brought the pipe out too. I mean, once he brought the pipe out, I knew it just wasn't going to end well. And he's old. I don't know if you can justify it or not. He's older, so he thought he had to protect. He brought the pipe out too. I mean, all right, we don't need to leave that and then in. True, but he brought the pipe out too. I mean, once he brought the pipe out, I knew it just wasn't going to end well. And he's old. I don't know if you can justify it or not. He's older, so he thought he had to protect himself. It's really weird.
But the thing is, and at the same time, he's one of those.
It's a really weird fight.
And at the same time, he's one of those. Like the way they've portrayed him, he's a guy, he's self-aggrandizing. He's tried to build him up into this legend. He's trying to, justify all these horrible opinions that he has by saying like, oh, I served in the military, therefore you can't question anything I say.
No.
And then when somebody
I don't know if I was disagreeing or if I was agreeing there. So I'm just taking that one out because I obviously don't say anything afterwards.
As by saying like, oh, I served in the military, therefore you can't question anything I say. And then when somebody does try to call him out on it, when somebody does try and say, hey, stand with me, take a stand, guy does nothing. And, stand with me, take a stand, guy does nothing.
Ugh, where's that coming from? My trick of watching the output meters is failing because I'm not hearing them. It must be one of the effects I'm running. See, I saw it up here, but I did not see it in any of the tracks down here. Let's assume that's Haley.
Somebody does try to call him out on it.
Yep.
Somebody does try to call him out on it. When somebody does try and say, hey, stand with me, take a stand, guy does nothing. And when somebody tries to call him out on his stuff, he flops. And he's like cornered. And so he does what any corner to call him out on his stuff. He flops, and he's like cornered. And so he does what any cornered animal does, is try and fight. The thing is, he's trying to fight somebody who's younger than him, stronger than him, and has had recent hand-to-hand combat training, and is unstable, and is hand-to-hand combat training, and is unstable, and is feeling like he's having his life threatened because guess what? Guy just slashed him in the stomach with a knife. So it was never going to end well.
Now,
Lewis should have stayed away.
He should have. He shouldn't not have gone. Okay, I think that's all the deconfliction I need there.
Should have stayed away.
He should have. He shouldn't not have gone to him.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of should haves there. And
I think if there had been a witness, he probably could have argued. I think if there had been a witness, he
heard something. I don't know what it was. In Lauren's track, so there we go.
was there. And
I think if there had been a witness, he probably could have argued self-defense right up until he stabbed him more than once. Because, the first thing, he just turned the knife on him, and that was probably instinct more than anything. But I also think any prosecutor is going to say, you went to this house with the intent of killing this guy because you were mad.
yeah, it's a terrible situation. The fact that
And Haley's throat clearing is gone now.
yeah, it's a terrible situation. The fact that it's a TV show and we saw it all work out means that we can dissect this just down to the wire. And the fact remains that there's, I don't know, it means that there's
There was a faint output meter over here if you want to back up and go look at it.
And the fact remains that there's, I don't know. I know what the writers are trying to do. They're showing somebody in a bad situation who people are reaching out, trying to help him, and he's backing away at every turn because he doesn't think he needs it.
Right. And he's disconnected himself from his father and from everybody else and blames Curtis and from everybody else and blames Curtis now and knows he can't go back to Curtis now because O'Connor. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not so much that he's slipping through the cracks as that he jumped through the cracks and now doesn't know how to scramble back out. He's just digging himself. It's the whole thing with the hole. He's digging the hole because that's.
What was that? Wasn't me.
He's just digging himself. It's the whole thing with the hole.
Sounds like a microphone hit.
Through the cracks, as that he jumped through the cracks and now doesn't know how to scramble back out. He's just digging himself. It's the whole thing with.
See that part with Haley. I mean, I'm guilty of it too. So I'm just using this as a teaching point. But if you can maintain good microphone etiquette, which would be everything around your desk, including hitting the microphone and stuff. I hit my microphone, my chair squeaks, I hit my desk, I have keyboard sounds because my keyboard is literally 9 inches away from my microphone. You can hear it sometimes, even though it's a dynamic cardioid microphone. I have a mouse that is a silent mouse. It's a Logitech M330. And even though it is clickless, there might be some times where I can hear a little boom, 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 although that should all be noise gated out because that's below the noise gate. But clicking of keys on the keyboard or maybe fiddling with my phone, if I like drop the phone or set it back in the cradle rough, you can hear that. And it's just too much noise too close to the microphone. And if you can get rid of that, if you're not the producer of a podcast, even if you are the producer of a podcast, if you can get rid of most of that and just maintain good microphone etiquette and good microphone presence and recording etiquette, then you can get rid of the times where you got to go in and take out stuff like that. And as you can see, it is time in the post-production that adds up over time because you see how often I have to stop for something like that.
Through the cracks, as that he jumped through the cracks and now doesn't know how to scramble back out. He's just digging himself. It's the whole thing with the hole. He's digging the hole because that's all he knows how to do. And
right, the foxhole from previous episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And
right, the foxhole from previous episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Lauren, what else do you have to say about the future? Any predictions?
I'm going to say that Sarah Lieberman's going to hit on Frank and it's going to be
predictions.
I'm going to say that Sarah Lieberman's going to hit on Frank and it's going to be real awkward for everyone involved. And I think that might have been a prediction of mine from a previous episode too.
I know. I was kind of hoping they don't go there because I respect the character, but yeah.
I know.
I kind of like that they're just friends because they're in similar situations.
Respect the character, but yeah. Respect the character, but yeah.
I kind of like that they're just friends because they're in.
All right. I took out Lauren there because Haley had the longer run there. And two of us talking at the same time is no big deal. But three of us talking at the same time is a bigger deal where you get confused about who's talking to who, or at least I do. So I tried to deconflict that as much as I can. We're going to take one last look at it and see what kind of mouth noises Lauren makes or doesn't make. Maybe it just cuts over to her and she's not actually talking at the time. Because I respect the character, but yeah.
I kind of like that they're just friends because they're in similar situations and losing parts of their family.
Yeah.
All right, you saw it. Lauren was actually speaking, and I'm just going to keep it that way because it's going to make my audio edit much more easier on me. And if I was prioritizing audio or video, I'm not sure what I would choose here. Character, but yeah.
I kind of like that they're just friends because they're in similar situations and losing parts of their family.
Yeah.
But I also think it makes it the relationship between Frank and Micro much more tense if, his wife makes a pass at him.
Yeah, I like the fact that, okay, what I want to happen with there is that off camera, Frank is like, hey, by the way, your husband's alive. You want to get back at him? And they make a show of being and it's like all double entendres. And it's really funny for us, the audience, because we know they don't mean it. But this isn't that kind of show. I don't think that's going to happen.
That would be kind of funny. Yeah. Once again,
and then they're like, this is what you get. This is what you get, Micro.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to even get out Michelle's here. Would be kind of funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're like, this is what.
Yep. Michelle doesn't continue on. Would be kind of funny. Yeah.
And then they're like, this is what you get. This is what you get, Micro.
Yeah, but that would involve Frank actually having to do a layered conversation, and Frank is a blunt instrument, and him trying to do layered conversation and him.
Because Michelle wins out here in the long-term talk, I'm going to take Lauren out. She is, you hear her laughing, but we're going to see her mouth move. And this is a cut made because I'm prioritizing the audio over the video.
And Frank is a blunt instrument, and him trying to do layered conversation and double entendres and triple this. That's not Frank.
No, as we've discussed.
That's not Frank. That's not Frank.
No, as we've discussed before, Frank is a simple creature. His attempt at double entendres would be so terrible.
Bernthal can pull it off, but yeah, Frank.
Oh yeah, no, Bernthal could pull it off. Frank would have to. Okay, this is how it would go. Leo would have to write up a script for him. He'd have to read it off the back of his hand. It would come off like a third grader's attempt at a school play.
Why would Leo write the script when?
Because I'm saying that she is probably better at being clever.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so that's what our predictions for the future are, and we're looking forward to watching the next episode. We might have to take a week or two off. You might not notice because we're behind in the editing, but we will be back as soon as we can. In the meantime, Lauren, if somebody wants to go out and catch other great geeky content, what do we have to offer?
Well, you might want to check out one of my favorite podcasts on the network, Better Podcasting. In episode 154, Is It Really Team Over Tech? This week in the show, Stephen and SP ask the question, what is more important in podcasting, team or tech? Again, that's Better Podcasting, episode 154.
I don't know who that was. That's funny. We'll find out shortly, though. Right, finding the Daredevil. No, that's not the right one. I think Daredevil 2.0. I think that's what we're looking at here. Oh, here we go. Like, I know I put it in there. I don't know where it is. Oh, here's the weird bump that's stereo. Remember, I don't have to get these exact because music's not that exact. Okay. We're going to go ahead and do that. And then we're going to get rid of whoever was making like a yawning sound. Sounded like Haley, but could have been anybody. But it was me.
T4.
Yep. Hear all that. Lots of keyboard clicks. She was getting ready for the news segment.
Yes. So yes.
Okay, got rid of all that. You can see the new bump right there. You can see that I have gone ahead and skimmed off the soundboard, but I'm going to make sure I delete it all. Make sure it's all gone. It is all gone. I'm going to go up to the save function, which I should have been doing all along here. We started about the 35-minute mark right here and then went here, and you can see all those edits. It's been a heavy edit episode as far as audio is concerned, and that's one of the reasons why it's taken so long. The other reason is I had real world stuff come up, but hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to get through at least one of these little segments, if not both of them. Let's see, that's 7 minutes. And that's another, so 15 minutes. I should be able to get that done in, I'd like to say an hour, but I don't know. We'll see if I can get this done tomorrow or not. And then I got to do the audio edit before I get into the actual podcast. So we'll see what happens, but that is what I've done so far tonight. All of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode 262 up through the main segment, about 43 minutes in. And I hit save, which I should have been doing about every 5 minutes. Next time, I'll go over the news segment and hopefully even the feedback, maybe the outro too. And once again, I am SP from Better Podcasting. If you definitely have a question at this point, leave it in the YouTube comments down below. And please leave a time code of the YouTube video so I can scan forward and see exactly what you're talking about. You can also hit me up on Twitter at Stargate Pioneer. My email address is stargatepioneer@gonnageek.com. And we also have a Discord channel, which is gonnageek.com/Discord. And that will give you an invite directly into our Discord. You can also use betterpodcasting.com/Discord to make it in there as well. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And I appreciate the live viewers. I had a couple of them tonight. So thank you very much for that. And like Liberty Dude, and we had a couple other lurkers out there. So if you like videos like this and you're watching this on YouTube later, go ahead and hit that like button down below and subscribe. And you'll be informed of other videos like this as they come your way. In the meantime, I'm going to say goodnight because I have work tomorrow morning. And I hope you had a good time watching this. And if you have any suggestions, send them my way. In the meantime, bye. See you next time.